Hey, how you doing today?
What's going on, family? What's going on?
Introduce yourself.
My name is Joe Brown, aka Black Feniks. That's Feniks for those who want to know how to spell it, because they tend to always spell it like the city.
How you get your name? How did you get the Black Feniks?
The Black Feniks it came from my metamorphosis in prison. So when I went to prison, I was 16, and at that time, at 16 years old, I was wide open, fam, at that time. So I was into the streets. So when I went to prison, I was still buck wild. So once I started changing, about 18, a friend of mine came to me, and we was learning words all the time. So I had a friend of mine that was into wordplay. So every day we'll learn like 2 or 3 words and learn the definition and all that stuff. And this particular day, he was like, hey man, I done ran across this word called Phoenix, check this out. So he showed me the definition and we broke it down, and he was like, man, that's you, man, you Phoenix. And I'm like, I like that. So we got to looking at it, and we came up with the name, the spelling of the name from the pronunciation of Phoenix. So that's how you pronunciate Phoenix, is the way I spell it, Feniks.
Wow.
So, I hadn't grafted it then, so I started calling myself Black Feniks then, because I was just going through a change. Because the purpose of the bird was it risen, and then it consumed itself and risen again.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for coming on, and thank you for that introduction. Let's get into it. All right, first question. How was growing up for you?
Oh, growing up, you know what, honestly, it started off like normal. I grew up, I was born in Little Rock, and I was raised in Southeast Arkansas and in Denver, but I had more of a childhood in Denver and in Arkansas. It was like back and forth. So, I had Arkansas experience and I had Denver experience. But I can say it started off being pretty good, innocent, at first, until about kindergarten. I guess kindergarten, where things got real, when I started noticing, issues in the household. You know what I mean? I didn't really know what was going on until about kindergarten, when things started hitting the fan.
Okay, things like what? What made you realize that, okay, things are going?
Well, the first thing that happened at kindergarten, right as I was coming into kindergarten, we went from staying in, we had a 3-bedroom house, I remember, in Denver. We were staying in Montbello's. And we went from staying in that house and having like a couple vehicles outside till one particular night, it was me, my mom, and my sister, and we was in the car, and we was having to sleep in the car. So I didn't know why we couldn't sleep at the house. She was like, we got to stay in here, and we stayed in the car for probably one day. And then the next day we went to like a shelter, and we went in there, and it was like so many beds. Now that I've been to prison, I can tell you that's what it reminded me of. That shelter reminded me of a prison. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know what to, compare it to at that time, because I was young. But man, it reminded me of prison. It was beds everywhere. And just people, and they had like little dividers there, like little paper dividers, like 2 racks here, and that was somebody's family. And I remember my mom walking in there, and the lady showed us where we was gonna be sleeping at. And my mom looked around and just grabbed me, and my sister was like, nah, no thanks. We're gonna figure it out. And I remember we slept in the car one more night, and then I came to Arkansas. So my grandfather, the backstory behind it, my grandfather was sending my mom some money, but he's a military veteran, so World War II veteran, and he had to wait till he get his check in. So he was telling her, hey, I'm gonna send you this money to help y'all, but I gotta wait till I get my check. And at that time, my dad had got on drugs, so he was like fully gone on crack at that time. And he was in the streets in Denver, and so it was just me, my mom, and my little sister. So she was trying to leave Denver to come back to Arkansas, because that's where we had like a little safe haven at. We had some family. Up there was just my dad and his sister. You know what I'm saying? So it was his family, but not her family. So she wanted to come back to Arkansas. So that's pretty much how it really kicked off for me, coming back down here.
Okay, so from what you're saying, you spend more time with your mom.
Yeah, more time with my mom.
You remember having any experience with your dad?
The experience I had with my dad was with my mom, because my dad and my mom was together for a while. So they was married. It was like he was in the household, so for a long time. And then after probably, I'm gonna say 8 or 9, something like that. That's when he left, and he was gone then until I went to prison. They ended up getting back together once I went to prison. So while I was in prison, they ended up getting back together, and my dad ended up, my mom ended up dying with my dad, so they were still together when she passed.
Sorry to hear that. Okay, so would you say that the absence of your dad was the reason you maybe lost your way? And
Actually, to be honest with you, I would say not just losing him. I think his presence made me more. His presence not being there just made me more wild, because my dad really wasn't no wise man. Like, he wasn't like, you got the fathers that'll give you some good instructions, or that give you some game, or tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad wasn't that type. He wasn't the type to motivate me to do sports. He wasn't the type to, actually, to be honest with you, I can't tell you anything that my dad actually taught me how to do, other than me just watching him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just all about him. My dad was just all about him. Cars and getting high and drugs and streets. It was just all about him. So I didn't really get anything. Like, I can't tell you we have a relationship now, but I can't give you no wise quote that my father gave me. I can give you plenty that his father gave me. My grandfather, that's who raised me, his dad. But my dad, he just wasn't there mentally, you know what I mean? So at one point in time, I used to blame him, but now that I'm older, he's still in that mentality. Like, he's grown, but I understand that he was never meant to be a father, but it was meant for him to bring me here. I consider myself like Moses. It was meant for me to be here, but it didn't matter who my daddy or who my mom was. It was that I was created to do something. So if it came from me being raised from my daddy, I would have never be where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? But he still got me here. It was his purpose to get me here, but it wasn't his purpose to raise me, and I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that perspective before. I learned something new. Okay, so now, what happened? Why were you incarcerated?
So I got incarcerated at the time. It was for 2 counts of aggravated robbery, possession of a controlled substance, intent to deliver, residential burglary, and theft of property, and terrorist and aggravated assault. So those are all my charges, man. I just want to throw all of it. And all this is at 15. So I went from shooting, robbing, selling drugs. That's pretty much what I was into. I was just pretty much all over the place. And but when I got locked up, it was from, I got caught with drugs. I think I got caught with probably a couple ounces of cocaine at the time. And then I had a aggravated robbery charge pending. So I was on the run, and when they caught me, I had cocaine with me, you know what I'm saying? So I got charges with the drugs, but the crazy thing though, they ended up dropping the drug charges because I had the robbery charges. And the robbery charges carried more time than the drug charges because I was a juvenile at the time. So I had Fed charges. The Feds had me, but I was 15. They couldn't charge me as an adult, so they dropped the charges, and the state gave me 14 years in the state. So that's where I ended up going for the robbery charges.
So you weren't charged for the drugs, you were only charged for the robbery?
Yeah, I was still charged for the drugs, but the Feds dropped it, and the state just gave me like possession of drugs instead of having the federal case I had, because I was too young.
So you were 15 or 16 at the time?
I was 15 when I caught the federal case, or 14. It was still on my 14, but I was 15 when I got locked up then, but I still had that case. I was like 14, 15, something like that. I can't remember the exactly time. I think I was even turning on 14 when that happened. No, I was turning 15, that's when it was. That's what it was. I was 15 for sure.
At 15 years old, going through all of this turmoil, the robbery, obviously you lost your way.
Yeah.
You're not on the right track. If you're a teenager, 14, 15, robbing, shooting, probably selling cocaine.
Yeah, doing Hollywood.
How did you get into that? What was the reason why? Was it because you wanted to provide for your mom, your family, or just bad habits, or just bad influence? What happened?
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think it was a mixture of all those things. I wanted to help mom, but it was the environment that my mom brought me to. So the environment that my mom brought me to, her family, and the projects that we was in Shady Lane, at that time, her family and everybody that was there, they was Crips. So it was like my whole hood was Crips, but I didn't know this. Like, you know, I'm a kid now, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking up to all her cousins, and everybody got blue on. They got Cadillacs, they had gold, but they wasn't gang banging. They was hustling. Like, they was like players, you know what I'm saying? But everybody had blue on though. They had the diamonds, they had the cars, they had all that. So I'm like, man, I want to be like you know, like Junior and Buck and all these people that I was seeing, you know what I mean? So I didn't know that it was like, you know, gang banging at that time. You know, I didn't know that. I just knew I just wanted to be like them. It was like around 13, by 13, 14 is when I could say I got initiated in something. But I wasn't, you know, I wasn't doing anything at that time. But when I got initiated in something, I got initiated in the growth and development. So when I finally said, oh, I'm gonna be something, I ended up being a gangster disciple. And that's what my mama's whole side of her family was, and they came down from like Milwaukee. So we had family from came down there, and they was like, hey, look, cuz, we want you to come over here and do this, and that's kind of how I ended up starting out. That started the path, and it actually took me from gangbanging, believe it or not. Cause they wasn't teaching that, nah, you know, like I wasn't raised, like they didn't teach me gangbanging. They was teaching me go to school, but I had to understand that like they was teaching me literature and how to make money, and it was hustling things, but it wasn't go shoot somebody up or go do, nah, they wasn't teaching me that. Even though what they was teaching me was still wrong, but that's the best thing they gave me. You know, they was teaching me how to be a hustler, you know, how to make some money. It wasn't that. You know, we was protecting ourselves, protecting our little hood, but nah, it was more about making money. Everybody was like, hey man, go get some money, go get some money. And at that time, you know, I was witnessing my cousin them, they was having whole motels. They had motels at the time. And I didn't even know it, that this was from drug money, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's the environment I was in at the time, you know what I mean? So it was just a hustling environment.
So you thought this was normal?
Yeah, I thought it was normal, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was normal. I thought the hustling was normal. I knew the robbery wasn't. Because they used to be on me, man, you need to stop doing that. But that's what my peers was doing, a couple ages around me, like, hey man, let's go take it. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? We wanted, we're gonna take it. And that's what they was on, you know what I mean? So I was getting caught up between two, and that's how I ended up getting locked up before I started getting, before I got successful in learning how to do drugs, I was robbing first. Once I started learning how to make money with the drugs, I didn't want to rob no more, but I had already caught the robbery charges. You know what I'm saying? So I had already had charges, but I stopped robbing, you know what I mean? I was hustling. I liked the money from the hustling because it came with the women and the cars, you know, that's what I liked it, you know what I mean?
And while all this was going on, you were like, what, 13?
13, 14, 15. So when I got locked up, when I got locked up at 15, I turned 16. And at that time I had a Benz. So I had a Benz by myself, even though, you know, it was from the streets, but I was hustling good then. You know what I'm saying? When I got caught that charge, when they caught me up, I was 15. And I literally turned 16 like 2 weeks later while I was in the county waiting to go to prison.
Wow. How long were you in jail, and how was that experience for you?
The jail experience, I stayed in jail probably, I didn't stay in jail that long. I was probably in jail at that time, maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months, it really wasn't that long. They had a faster process then, at that time anyway. And I went to prison during the time they had the mass incarceration. So I'm from Arkansas, and that's where Bill Clinton is from. And when they did drop that mass incarceration, man, they was locking everybody up from 13 to 16 years old. I got friends right now that just got out last year, and he was down there with me at 14, 15 years old.
Whoa.
Just got out, fam, no lie. I was just talking, he got out and moved to Kansas. He in Topeka, Kansas. I met him at 14 years old, me and him was down there together. He just got out, fam, last year. Off that act, that kid act, you know that act, that's what he got out on. Yep, that last, whatever that act was called, that's what he got on. Yep. There was a lot of people got locked up with a lot of charges back then, man, especially when them robberies and shooting charges. They was in murder charges, they were just hiding people at that time. So, you know, it was a blessing for me to even get the 10 years, I believe, because I ended up getting I got 20 at first. So let me state that I got 20 at first, and then I went back and got the 14. So if it wasn't for that, I would have did more time in prison. I would have did the 14, and I did almost 15, because my first initial, I was supposed to did almost 15, like 14 and 8 months or something like that off that 20-year sentence. Like 70% off that 20, whatever that is.
So you said you went back, they gave you 20, but you went back and they gave you 14.
Yeah.
Was it like an appeal or something?
Yeah, it was like an appeal. So what happened was, one of my OGs, shout out to Charlie Rock, while I was down there, I had an older guy that kind of, took a liking on me, that helped me, because while I was down there, I got my GED and I went to Votech, and that's where I ended up getting the welding trade at. But I also became a better reader in there, shout out to Charlie Rock. So he used to sit down with me all the time, like, hey man, you gonna go and do this, we need to do this. So he was really on me on education. So once he looked at my paperwork, he seen they had did a couple things wrong, and we was able to go back and give some of that time back. But if it weren't for him looking at it, like literally, I wouldn't have, I still have had that time. And I think I caught it off of habeas corpus. So if those people know what that is, you only got like 120 days to file a habeas corpus. So he caught it right in time. It's like I got the prison, he caught it and seen the paperwork, and we filed it, and I was able to get some of that time back within 120 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Would you say that person was kind of like your mentor in prison?
Oh yeah, it's my mentor. I still write him, still look out for him to this day. Yeah, to this day. Yeah, he's been there. When I went there, Charlie Rock had already been there 20 years, and this was in '96, and he's still there.
You know what he's in for?
For murder. Yeah, murder and drugs.
Whoa. So what was your most memorable experience in jail? That you would say, damn, I ain't never gonna forget that.
I think my most memorable experience, I think was waking up, going to use the bathroom, and it messed me up, seeing homosexual activities. Waking up and having to go use the bathroom and seeing somebody right beside me making love to another man. That just messed me up. Like that caught me all off guard. I didn't know what to think about that. I was young, and it just, yeah, I never forget that. That right there, like, traumatized. I remember telling my mom about, like, man, and I kind of felt like, I wanted, a part of me wanted to do something, but I was telling my guy, he's like, man, that's that dude's business, man. He ain't over there no close to you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta leave dude alone, dude in here forever. So I didn't want to start no problems, because I'm thinking, I'm young, I wanted to cause the problem at first. And my guy was like, nah, man, old school, he been here forever, man. If he ain't over there messing with you, they ain't only touching your rack, leave it alone. So yeah, that was humbling, that was crazy.
What would be your advice for men getting out of jail?
My best advice I could give for anyone, and this is honestly, if you coming out of prison, jail, incarceration of any form, and you trying to get ahead in life, the best thing I could tell you to do is act like you still locked up. Act like you still locked up. Act like them folks still got their foot on your neck, and you'll do better. But if you come out here and get relaxed, you're gonna fall back into the trenches, fam. Like, I literally got out and act like I was on a furlough. So for those who know, when you're on a furlough, them folks are still coming to get you. So you gotta be on your best behavior. You can get you a little girl, you can have a little fun, put some free wear clothes on and do all this, but you gotta behave, fam, because the folks gonna come back and get you. You only got a certain amount of time. So I would say do that. And by doing that, it's gonna create more discipline in you, so that way you can get over the hump. Because if you get out here and start getting too relaxed and making too many excuses for yourself, you ain't gonna be successful. You gotta be hard. Like, you gotta have that dog in you. You gotta have that drive. You gotta keep that same drive. And I think that's the thing that cripples a lot of people, because once they get out, it's like, how I like to say, it's like a light switch where it got like 12 sockets to it. It got too many options, so they tend to get caught up. So I believe you should just have one switch, fam, on and off. And I think if you keep that on and off, you'll be all right, you'll be good. And because I think it'll keep you focused on where you been and where you going all the time. I heard I was talking to bro the other day, and bro said something that really hit me. He said he was talking to somebody. He said everything, every conversation, every encounter, it deals with time. He said, so I don't want to waste my time dealing with nothing. And that's what you realize after being out. You really, really honor your time, man. You know what I'm saying? Time is more valuable. So that's why we're trying to build these businesses now, because we're realizing that we can make more money, fam, but we can't produce more time. You know what I mean? So we can get the bag. I done got the bag and blew the bag several times, but I cannot produce more time. That 20 years gone, it's gone, fam. I can't make it up. So we realize the value of our time now. So now, you know, I really feel like if you keep that same approach, you'll be all right.
So going back to what you said you were incarcerated around, let's say 14, 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever meet someone whereby, because you spent 10 years in prison, did you ever meet someone like a girl or anything like, do you have kids?
I actually, it's crazy that you say that. So while I was incarcerated, I actually met my first wife, and she was a police officer. And I was working in the infirmary at the time, so we kicked it for a while, and then she ended up quitting, coming to visit me, and we ended up having a child together. And actually, our child turned 18 this year. She turned 18 this year. And real cool, but she was actually, like I say, she was an officer, and that was a relationship that caused me a lot of issues, because I ended up going to the hole behind the situation, because, you know, once people in prison find out you got a female, and especially if she's attractive, it's gonna be some problems. So by the time they found out, the officers were more mad at anything, because it was a white female and it was a female they was attracted to. So it was more like we're gonna do something to them. So they locked me up for like a week or so under investigation until they got everything out. But she had quit already, so they couldn't do nothing to her. They couldn't do nothing to me. So the guy had to literally let me out the hole. And by that time, she has already got approved on my visitation list, so they really couldn't do anything.
Wow.
So, and we stayed together from 99 till 2010. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good relationship. We still, you know, we don't talk as much, but good friends. Good friends, real good friends. My daughter is about to be 18 this year, so from that relationship, from her being in prison, or me being in prison with her mom, like I say, we still have a relationship to this day, though.
Right.
So.
Would you say that she kind of made the prison experience a little better?
You know what, I'm gonna be honest with you. She made the prison experience a lot better, because she gave me the opportunity, and I gotta give her flowers now. So like I said, we don't talk as much, but I still respect her. She gave me the opportunity to be in prison, but not be in prison. So my body was there, but my mind wasn't there. She gave me the opportunity to get different literature from outside, so I can be able to learn more things. She helped me sign up for the small business management class, get it took so I can be able to take that in there. So she helped me on a lot of things. And then she went to college for, I think it was computer science or something like that. So when I got out, she gave me my computer literacy classes. She taught me how to use, at that time, MySpace.
Wow.
She taught me how to use MySpace and how to do the emails and how to set that up. Like, so she helped me. A lot of the things that I do now as far as online, she really helped me learn how to, you know, be familiar with the technology, because she was like, this is where everything going. You gotta learn how to use this. So she taught me how to use the phone and all that. So to be able to do the things that I'm doing now, yeah.
So basically, she was a blessing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, I believe I was telling someone the other day that, you know, everybody we meet in our life, they don't necessarily mean that we have to, that we'll be connected to them forever, but they was meant for a certain season in our life, you know. So, and when it comes to her, I believe she was most definitely meant to mold me and get me prepared to where I'm at during that season. There's a lot of things I had to learn coming out of prison after doing 10 years, almost 11 years, that she kind of put me up on paying bills, getting back into the motion of doing things, going to games with kids, and you know, just going to church, and you know, a lot of things that I got a chance to experience from being, you know, in that type of relationship. So it was cool. I wouldn't take none of that back.
Wow. Okay. Enough of prison. Let's go forward. Okay, how did you get into welding?
Okay, so I got into welding in prison. So what happened was, my mom came down, so just to give y'all a quick story short, my mom came down at about 17 when I was in prison. At this time when I was in prison, I had actually caught another charge. So I caught an attempted murder charge while I was in prison. So I had stabbed somebody about 13 times at that time, and I was in the hole at the time my mom come down to talk to me about welding. So the way prison politics is set up, you can still go to visitation before I actually can stop my visitation process. You got to go through a court process. So since this stabbing happened on like a Thursday, visitation was Saturday, so I could still go to visitation. Normally, it'd be like Tuesday or Wednesday before I go to court. So I was able to still see my mom physically, but I had to go out there with handcuffs on while I sit out there and talk to her. And that's where she introduced me with welding. That's when she told me about it. So she had got the news that I had stabbed someone in there to protect myself. And she had already been worried about me because I was young, wondering if I was gonna be okay. And she told me once she got that news that that I stabbed that guy and I was taking up for myself, she was like, man, I slept the most best sleep I could have that night. She said, I knew my baby was gonna be all right. She said, ain't nobody gonna mess with my baby. My baby gonna be all right, boy. She came down there, she was like, boy, I slept so good, you know. And that's when she had the idea. So she told me she was watching a Tulsa Welding School commercial, ironically. And she said she seen them welding on there. And what caught her attention was the guy said they make $100 an hour. Well, my mama heard that $100 an hour. She said, I got him. This it. This is what I'm gonna sell to him. He gonna do this. And literally, that's what she did, fam. She literally came down, told me everything she seen from that commercial. They being traveling with it. They do construction. They make things with it. You can teach with it. You can sell welding products. Like just a whole big welding world. She was just telling me about it. Had me all excited. And that day on prison, on visitation, is when I decided to be a welder at 17 years old, talking to my mom. And then that next week, she sent me some papers from the local library and went in there and got some copies because we didn't have the internet then. And she sent me about 4 or 5 papers front and back of some welding information. And that became my Bible, fam. I read it front and back.
Wow. So shout out to mama, huh?
Yeah, most definitely, man. She made it happen, fam. Real talk. She made it happen.
And that's the benefit of having a good mom.
Yeah, she was great, fam. My mom she never shadowed my father, like never said he was less or anything. Like I say, like I had to learn this on my own. She never downed him or nothing. She just used to always say, you know, you just got to love your dad. And she was very supportive. She did whatever she could, you know what I mean, to help guide me. Even though at that time it was little, my mom was a CNA. So before she passed, she was doing CNA work before she hurt her back. She was disabled when she passed though. So she wasn't working anything when she passed. She was drawing disability at that time.
Did she see you get out of prison? Did she see you become a welder?
Yeah, she did get the opportunity to see me become a welder. And she got the opportunity to see me buy my first house. So she was so excited. She got a chance to come to it. Wow. She was so happy. She's like, oh, baby, this is a mansion. And it wasn't no mansion, family. But it was to us because we ain't never had nothing like that. Right, but it was just a 3-bedroom with a 2-car garage with one where you got the little outhouse connected to the house. So it was just a cool little spot, though. But for the area we was in, it was like I made it, fam, at that point.
Especially like your past experience being in jail.
Yeah. So making it to that point, I felt real good. I'm gonna be honest, now that I reflect on it, I still was searching and still lost in the area, but I had made it to a certain success. I would say at that time, I made it to what I call the American dream, that we realized is fake. I got the picket fence and the woman and the kids and the card and none of that stuff was what it was. But I thought I had to have the American dream and it was, I made it, I got it, I don't want it no more. I made it though. Wow. I can't say I got there, you know what I mean? But it wasn't what it was though.
Wow, shout out to mama one more time, man.
Yeah, okay. She most definitely gave me that game.
Shout out to her, man. Also, this new location that where you from originally?
Originally, I am from Little Rock, Arkansas. I was born in Little Rock and I was raised in McGee, Arkansas, and Arkansas City, little small towns.
Okay, and that's where you have your welding school and your welding shop and everything.
Yeah, it's actually in Little Rock, Arkansas is where I teach presently right now. So I'm teaching in Little Rock right now.
Okay, but you're moving to Georgia, correct?
Yes. We are going to transcend into the area, most definitely.
Okay, where in Georgia are you guys relocating to?
Well, it's going to be somewhere so I can get close to here. So we're in Union City right now. So it's going to be somewhere, you know, I don't know, College Park, East Point, I don't know, somewhere around here.
Right.
This area, I see this housing around here. I don't know, I might be here, I don't know. I'm still scouting the area though, to be honest with you. Okay. I'm gonna be here somewhere though.
How excited are you for this new location here in Union City?
Man, I'm really excited. I mean, I'm excited, honestly, for a few different reasons. The location is grand. Like where it's located at, how easy it is to get to. It's located in a popular area. Most people are familiar with it. And this city is big on entrepreneurship and business.
True.
So the city itself is big on entrepreneurship and business and neighborhood. So I really think that it's gonna be a good spot.
I'm excited because you can really make a change, especially for young kids coming up, so they don't make the same mistakes as you.
Yes, and that's what really the opportunity really going to help us, because there's a lot of people in the area that, when it comes to welding, this isn't a conversation that we have in our household as being Black natives, African Americans. We don't have welding isn't a conversation too much. You know, we like, you know, you hear a lot of stuff, but not welding. And so I kind of want to take that taboo out. I want to kind of take that myth away that we can't become great welders and actually business owners and operators.
Would you say it's because of the mentality that I guess Black people think it's a dirty business and they'd rather just go for being a lawyer or a doctor or, you know, do a proper 9-to-5 job?
You know, honestly, you know, when you get to doing our history here, we have always believed in trades. We just kind of walked away from it. Like our forefathers, they believed in it. That's how we got so far, because we was the carpenters, the HVACs, the plumbers. You know, we had our own trades, and we was also educated to do lawyers and things like that. But we knew that the trades made the economy. That's what made the system go. So, you know, it was more highlighted at one time, and I just think when they started taking it out of the schools, and they literally started taking it out where you couldn't get certified for trades no more while you was in high school. Because it was had people coming out of high school for a career, you know, at one time, you know, in our culture. But now, you know, it's kind of like, you know, everybody want to do social media things or internet things, or say where they can just, you know, use the laptop or the computer. And then, you know, the trades are dying. A lot of people actually, there's journeymen and veterans, you know, they kind of passing on or getting to the point where, you know, it's a big need right now. And the last quote I seen probably a few weeks ago, I think it said close to 375,000 welders needed right now in the U.S. They said as of 2000, as of now, up to 2025, that they're gonna need about 375,000 welders in the U.S. It's just the U.S. alone, you know. And then the demand is always growing because welding technology interacts in so many different fields. So I really think being here, it can be more of a hub, because they're doing a lot of building here. There's a lot of plants here. There's a lot of fabrication. There's a lot of homes here. So you got decorative metal, you got gates, you got fences, you got handrails. All of these things take metal, you know. And then you got non-destructive materials now they putting out, like stainless. A lot of people having stainless outside because there's a lot of rain. So, you know, it's a lot of money in metal, you know, so we just need to be more familiar with it. So I just want to make it more cooler and make it more interesting for our people to want to dive into it and know it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Of course, now in this day of social media, like you mentioned, everybody want to be on social media now, you know, fast money and stuff. What would you say is the fastest way to run the bag up being a welder?
The fastest way to do it, I honestly believe, is to go on the road. or get a contract where you're doing like contract work. That's gonna be the fastest way because you're gonna get paid more money for your time when you travel. Like if you're in a closed environment, going home every day, you're gonna make money, but you ain't gonna make as much money if you go travel. So if you wanna run a serious bag up, travel. Travel is where the bag gonna be at, traveling. So being able to go from state to state and town to town, doing like iron working, doing buildings, doing construction, that's where it's gonna be at. From construction and pipe welding. So from piping and construction is gonna be your two quickest ways to run a real serious bag up quick. I mean, my first year independent, I made $105,000 independently, you know.
How many years ago was that?
Since the first, when I first hit 105, I think I did that 17. So the year 16, 17, I did it. And that's actually when I started the first HogOn Welding LLC. So I established that business in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow. Wow. So for the young people watching right now, you would say welding, because you already mentioned the 5 trade. I forgot everything. Can you mention them again?
Yes, the 5 trades is you got welding, you got HVAC, you got plumbing, you got electrical, and you got carpentry.
So you're saying now that young kids who feel like they don't have any options should try to find one of those 5
One
trades?
of those 5 trades, yeah. Because you got to think, you know, if your hand is like this and you're just doing one thing, a person can come and break that finger if you're just doing one thing. But if you know one of these and you do this, you got a fist. Now we can build something. We can hit something hard if we all come together with trades. So to me, I think it's just a stronger force. And you can pick any one of them, you know what I mean? Because all of them make good money. I just chose the ones, to me, I think welding, HVAC, and carpet. Welding, HVAC, and electrical probably make the most money per hour. You know, but carpentry make good money too. So if you can build a whole house, man, you an asset, fam. So, you know, so being able to do plumbing, and that's a good one too. You know, all those are high paying skills. So you can have a good paying job and you can convert those jobs into a business. So it's a win-win.
Nice, nice. Tell us a little bit about HogOn University and what you're trying to achieve with that.
So my goal with the HogOn University is to bring more awareness to the trades, not just welding. That's why I named it HogOn University, because I'm not just focusing on welding alone when it comes to the university. I'm focusing on all the trades, life skills, life principles, financial literacy, generational wealth, like everything to help our people become better. Real estate, we need to know things about law, you know what I mean? Like everything that combines in a person becoming a better person. Spirituality, you know what I mean? Knowing things about your creation, knowing things about doing research on literally knowing where you came from. So it's like, it's deeper than just saying that I want to teach a person how to weld when it comes to the HogOn University. I want to give history. So I'm big on Black History 365 is what I like to call it. I love to learn. There's so much that we can learn. So I'm just big on trying to really change the mentality as a whole, you know what I mean? But just having different information on, because a person got to be ready for it. You know, I always tell people what I'm doing is only for those who are woke. You know, I'm not waking anybody up. That's not what I do. I had to realize that a while ago. I used to think, you know, when you first learning your purpose, you can't wait to go tell somebody the good news. Man, I got this good news, man. I just got this. And then you realize that people ain't ready for your good news. Most of the time you try to wake somebody up, what they try to do? Go back to sleep 5 more minutes. Man, I ain't ready yet. You know what I'm saying? You can't wake folks up. So what I learned that, hey, I'm just a light, fam. Once you wake up and you realize it's time to change something, I'll be standing over here shining, showing you how to get out.
Whoa. So basically you're trying to be that guidance for...
Just a guidance, yeah.
For this, I guess, teenagers coming to HogOn University to learn.
Yeah, for this generation. As long as I'm here, I just want to be a light, to shine light on not only being a welder, because I got so many different aspects of myself, you know what I mean? So, you know, whatever I can be able, if it comes to entrepreneurship, to, you know, to just coaching as being a better person, to getting a trade, to investing some money, you know what I mean? Whatever a person try to do, my goal is to just show up a different way and me actually doing it, living it by example. So you'll see it when you see me, you know, so you know that it ain't no gimmick when you see me. You know, this is just who I am.
Wow. How many students do you have in HogOn University right now?
Right now, well, actually I got 10, well, 7 that's about to graduate. I had 10, so now I got 7 about to graduate this coming up Friday. So they'll be graduating this Friday in Arkansas, in Little Rock.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm proud of them. A few of them got jobs already, so I'm excited for their future.
Wow. So do you have, obviously you do have an idea. How much would you say just graduating from HogOn University, starting a salary, how much are these kids gonna start earning?
Well, it's literally when it comes to welding, let me say this. Welding is a physical trade. You can't finesse it. You know, a lot of things we can do, we can finesse. You really got to learn how to do it. Like you can't finesse it. So it's all based on you learning the trade. So as of now, the most someone has, out of my 16-week welding program, as of now, the most a person has made hourly has been $25. That's after 16 weeks. And he didn't know nothing. He couldn't even cut the grinder on. He didn't know anything. So after 16 weeks, he went from making minimum wage to 25. And that first year, I think he said he cleared over 60K, about around close to 60K that first year.
What?
So that's his first year of welding ever. You know what I'm saying? Ever. He was making minimum wage. Huh?
Whoa. Yeah, you could speak up.
I was saying no experience.
No experience. Oh, none. None experience. None. Zero experience. The man didn't know how to, listen, it's so funny, I got a video of him trying to put the welding hood on. He had the hood on backwards. I said, say fam, he ain't had the hood on right. He didn't know how to do nothing. So after 16 weeks, the most the person has made is $25 an hour and close to 60K that first year. And the least was 17. The guy started at $17 an hour. And I want to say he said he made around 40 something that first year with a little minimum wage. So he still killed, fam. And we in Little Rock, and you know, there is the minimum wage is $11. We in Georgia here, the minimum wage is $7.25.
Hell no.
It's still $7.25. They ain't even jumped the minimum wage up. You know what I'm saying? It's still right to work around here, you know what I mean? So, you know, if we can get somebody, man, and really get them some money, we can change their lives for real. So you gotta think after 8 to 16 weeks, you can have a life-changing career. Like, no lie, I told my guy, in 5 years, I can make you a multi-millionaire. So in 5 years, you can make $250,000. Easy. That's $50,000 a year. That's easy. That ain't even working hard.
And all you need, no experience, like he said.
No experience.
Zero experience.
All you need.
Just come to the university.
Come to
learn
university.
For 16 weeks.
For 16 weeks. 8 to 16
weeks.
Yeah,
and you have the potential to earn between, say, $17 to no limit.
To no limit. It's all based on the individual. Like I say, it's all based on the individual, literally all based on the individual. And we help them get jobs in certain areas. So since I'm starting here, I gotta reach out to some companies and find out what their demand is so I can start opening up some doors here. But we already got some companies that do recruiting. So even though I'm here, I still can get you some jobs, traveling jobs. Not in the area, because I don't know the area just yet, but I do have some opportunity for traveling jobs in the area though.
Wow. But you do have scouters or, you know,
Yeah.
in Little Rock.
In Little Rock, yes, most definitely. I can get anybody a job there. They got a couple manufacturing shops there, and they ain't going nowhere. They've been there since, I think, the early 60s, and they just growing and growing. So it's plenty of work there if a person trying to get on their feet and then leave and go somewhere else. A lot of people go there, get some money, and then go wherever they want to go.
Wow. How can people find this university online?
Okay, so online right now, we don't have a website right now, but we're working on that, but we do have an address. The address at the moment is going to be 7415 I think it was Oakley Road in Union City. So that's 7415 Oakley Road in Union City. That's the address. And our goal is to have it. Hopefully we can have it. I don't know the schedule because we just got the location. So it's probably gonna be, you know, you give us a few months, 3-4 months to get everything off the ground, but we are most definitely working hard to get things going. But we, like I said, we got the location and we already got some things going. Oh yeah, but most definitely you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Everything is Your Welding Coach. Your Welding Coach and HogOn University. Look up both of those names. You'll see us both on all platforms.
So it's Your Welding Coach.
Yeah, Your Welding Coach, personally, because I'm yours.
Wow, I never heard about that before, where you can just, I only, you know, people say so many things online, but I've watched you. Like, I follow your YouTube, I see the things that you post. You are about what you say. You're not just, you know, people say stuff and then you go find out they ain't even doing it.
They ain't even doing it. It's many ain't never did that before.
Yeah, they're just talking trash.
Nah, I live it, fam. I live it. I'm in the flesh, fam. What you see is what you get. And literally, I think that's what makes me, I think that's what makes what I do more potent, because once you meet me, you will see, like, my energy is, I like to say it's contagious. You know what I mean? If you got bad energy, you're gonna run away from me. I'm just saying, you ain't gonna wanna be around me. You got some good energy, boy, we gonna vibe and make something happen. Like, for real, for real.
Wow. Would you say the reason you're going this hard was because you sort of kind of lost time? Because you went to prison? Is that why you just say, okay, I have to achieve my goals, I have to achieve my dreams, and I have to bring people with me and help the younger folks?
I would say both. I wouldn't really just say I lost time, because I felt like I was moving so fast before I got to prison that I think it gave me time to find my purpose and really start finding myself. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna say that I got out and want to go harder just because I lost time. I think I got out, want to go harder, and I want to go harder every day once I find my purpose. Like, once I found my purpose, that's what makes me want to go harder. The more I realize that I know I'm a truth seeker, and then I know I'm a true people uplifter. I really want to help people. I really want to see people change. And if you're a person that's gonna put people in different positions and really help people, you got to make a sacrifice. So sometimes you'll be that black sheep, you'll be that lonely wolf, you'll be the one, you know, taking the punches sometimes to be able to help everybody. And you know, I think that the way everything started was just meant for me to be the way I am. So it was just, you know, Dad had to be who he is, love him to death. Salute to Dad. But it made me who I am today.
Wow. Just listening to you, I could tell you've accepted who you are, every part of yourself, like spiritually, physically, emotionally. Like, you know, most people like to shy away from who they are. But I can tell just listening to you, you've accepted yourself, and it's actually helping you. And I'm really proud of any black man, especially
Thank you.
You know, who can accept who they are and not try to be something else or someone else and use their hands. So we're gonna have to give you, like I said, I'm gonna have to give you your flowers,
man. I
bro.
appreciate it. I'll take them too, fam. I'm taking them too. You know
really
what I mean?
appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming. But you know, you can't come on Black Sheep without being asked, what makes you a black sheep?
Man, you know, I think the main thing that makes me a black sheep of the family is because I've always wanted something different from life. Like, I've always had a different outlook, and my outlook and my approach made people either shun towards me or shun away from me. And my mom told me something that I think about all the time. She caught me one time playing, and she called me to the side, and I literally thought I was in trouble because I always was doing something. And she yelled at me, "Look, Joe, come here." And I walked over there. I was like, "What's going on, Mama?" And she was like, "Boy, you a leader." And at that time, I didn't know what the word meant. Like, I didn't even know what it meant. She said, "Boy, you a leader." She said, "You just got to figure out, are you gonna lead people down the right path or the wrong path?" And I believe once I decided to embrace my purpose to literally help people and lead them down the right path, that's when I became the Black Sheep, because there's only a few that goes that direction. And normally it's gonna be us.
Wow. Wow. Well, I just want to say thank you one more time. Thank you for coming on the show. And one last question. For people contemplating into going to welding, what would be your advice to them? People thinking, oh, do I want to be a welder or not?
I would say go on and put some actions behind it. I love to say this. I quote this all the time to all of my students. I say proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. I threw that extra P in there, which was piss, because that's how poorly you're gonna perform if you don't prepare. So if you decide to do it, just go on and put your all into it. Just realize that learning something takes time, making money takes time. Once you get this trade though, you will always make something. You can get that dollar and you can blow it. So I would say realize that that trade, that skill is a part of your life, because life consists of time, so put your all into it.
Thank you so much, man.
HogOn, fam. Make sure y'all check out some of the gear. For those who want to get some HogOn gear, I got on Amazon. Just put in HogOn Welding, and you should pop up all of my gear on Amazon. Y'all be blessed, continue to prosper. I'm out. That's about it.